All right, Bull fam, we got the dub. I know it's been a rough couple of weeks. You know what? Last night felt good. It felt good, but it's a bit deceiving. I don't want to get crazy. I don't want us to get super excited. I know I've been going through it. I know you've been going through it. It's been a tough year, and I still want to have hope for this team. But I'm not going to let this game be the one to push me over the edge to say that we are a playoff team. There's still a lot to prove. As great as this game was, we got to take into account certain things, right? And one of those things are going to be, this was the Chicago Bears. Nothing against the Chicago Bears, but you have not been great this season. To be fair, it looks like you're going to be playing for the Caleb Williams Bowl. So, and you are on a backup QB. You haven't been great offensively or defensively. So that's why I want to take this win with just a little bit of caution. I know people are getting super excited by what they saw. I still have a few concerns. I also am not going to let one game determine how I feel about this team, as great as this was, because to me, this is a game that I think could have gotten everyone's confidence back, at least in terms of the players. Now, we play the Jets next week. If we can beat the Jets, and we are better than the Jets right now, defensively, if they have been brutal, but if we could beat the Jets, and I don't feel like, we kind of got lucked into a win, okay, then we go and play Detroit. That's when I'm going to be able to gauge more how this team has really responded. So it's still early. But I'm waiting for this Detroit game. And if we can go into play Detroit, well, I think they come here. But if we can play Detroit at 4-4 and we can somehow win that game, now we're changing stuff here. Now we're going to be looking at this team differently. But that's still a few weeks ahead. Let's slow down. Sorry, I don't know if I'm coming up with a cold or what, but I'm just, let's just point out the positive because I don't want to be completely negative. For the first time since the finger injury, Herbert looked amazing out there. He looked confident, decisive. He was going through his reads. He was accurate. He looked amazing. There was maybe like one bad, almost honestly should have been pick play. Outside of that, though, he looked great. I was having so much fun watching him. You saw the top 5 QB talent and potential. The fact that he went 31 for 44, I think was amazing. He had a 122 QB rating, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He didn't get sacked once. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was an 82 QBR. But 298 yards. He looked fantastic out there. Again, grain of salt, because I need to see you do this. If you can do this kind of play like this against the Jets, who are a good defense, who have great corners and a good pass rush, then we're going to be looking at you differently, Herbert. But we need this to continue, and a lot of that had to do with the offensive line. The offensive line looked great today. It almost really rarely felt like they got to Herbert or were able to cause any pressure. So that, I think, was massive. So for the first game, like I said, though, the Bears don't have a great pass rush, so we have to take that with a grain of salt. But they played great. Not taking nothing away from them. The only thing is, as great as Ekeler was, and it was so fun to watch him kind of back out there catching passes, being productive, the fact that he got 15 carries for 29 yards is really concerning to me. Because, again, the Bears aren't a team that stops the run very well. So, Joshua Kelly looked a little better running the ball. He was averaging 3.5 yards a carry. It's weird. He looks better running the ball when Eckler's in the game. So, I'm not sure, but okay. I can go with that. Reception-wise, it was so balanced out. Obviously, Austin Ekeler, 7 receptions, 94 yards. I love it. Keenan being Keenan. Everyone's super excited about 2 players that I think had a great game. That was going to be Donald Parham and Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston finally getting involved in the game plan a little bit. I'm excited for it, man. I still think he could be a good player. He needs to get involved more. His route running to me hasn't been so crisp yet, but seeing him towards the end of the half, I wish he would have got involved earlier, but he got involved. 5 receptions, 50 yards. He looked good when he started catching the ball. And it did feel, I don't know if it was just me, like within his second and third catch, he actually started to look more confident. It looked like, okay, everyone got more in sync. And then it was like Herbert and like, all right, cool, I trust you, man. And then it just started happening in bunches. Once he got one catch, it just started to roll. And I'm like, maybe we can roll this into the next game. Because if Quentin Johnson could really help out this offense, because Palmer's looking to come into his own, man, we could be scary again. Donald Parham looked fantastic out there. I didn't realize how good he was at yards after catch. Like, he was doing fantastic yards after catch. Man, those stiff arms are crazy. His arm length is wild. I mean, he's stiff arming people 3 yards away. That shit is crazy. But man, that was great. Defensively, I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning of the game, I thought we were just gonna have another Charger game, because I'm like, we started that crazy play with Darnell Mooney, and the wild part was that he was not down. He should have scored on that play. So, you know, it's okay. That was really the only play that I was worried about. Outside of that, we played fantastic. Ugh. Excuse me. I'm trying to lay off the caffeine a little bit, you know, because I've been way too addicted to it. But defense played well. You know what? You had a great game plan for this, Staley. But again, I'm not like, give credit when credit is due. But I can't. There's an asterisk behind this. Like I said, it's the Bears, and it's a backup quarterback. This is gonna be this. You know, I'm gonna give you credit, but we have to see you do this consistently, and I need to see this against good teams. But you know what really made me happy about this game is we are a top 5, top 7 team in the league, and I feel like we finally showed it. Like, we came in, we were like, we're the better team, we're gonna beat you, and that's what we did. I don't remember the last time I watched a Charger game outside of the Rams game last year where I'm like, all right, we got this win in the bag. I didn't feel nervous about us giving up the lead. I didn't feel nervous about them making a comeback. It just looked like an overall really good win. Like, we were just dominant on both sides of the ball. We weren't going to let them come back, but we finally played like the superior team. We actually blew out a team. This could have been worse, but that leads me to one of the biggest negatives that I still am questioning about this team. This was the Bears. And what is one thing that the Chargers have continually struggled with pretty much all season this year and last year? That was being able to score in the second half. So I don't know if that's happening because we're not making adjustments, or if they just took their foot off the gas. That is concerning to me, because we only scored 6 points in the second half, and it should have been more. If the Bears were a better team, do they make a comeback? Because the defense played well, but like I said, if this was a better team, if this was, you know, the Chiefs, we're going to play the Lions this year, like, would they have come back if we only put up 6 points? These are things that really need to be figured out. Why is it that this team struggles so much in the second half? 6 points? Why? You were just dealing all game. Why did it slow down so much? So Kellen Moore or Staley, you guys really need to figure this out. Like I said, we can still make a run. This can still turn around. But there's got to be some things that change, right? Because we always give up games or make them close. The second half has got to be where you make adjustments and where we continue to play the great football we started with. I mean, what happened against the Chiefs? We started off on fire. We could have been on par with them. We could have beat them because the defense held their own that game, but the offense didn't hold their own. Second half has to be better offensively. So that needs to be hashed out. I don't know how you need to figure that out, but that needs to be hashed out. I don't like the fact that we only put up 6 points in the second half against a team that's not very good and a team that was not getting much pressure, and when Herbert was having the kind of game that he was having. This should have been a worse blowout. That was my big negative. That was my big negative because that did bother me a lot. I thought this game could have gone a lot worse. I do love that Dicker the kicker is the real deal. Man, we don't have to worry about that, but still, this offense needs to pick it up in the second half. But I'm not going to take nothing away from the defense. You guys played great outside of that one big play. I think, honestly, the second score they got was kind of more just garbage time. So I'm not really looking too much into that. But good team effort. Like I said, the biggest thing for me is just going to be more next week. Can we do this again? Can Herbert look the way he did again? It looks like the finger's finally starting to get a little better. But, man, I'm happy. I'm happy to finally just watch a game and not have to worry about giving it up. And I think next week should be a win. We are a better team. We have the better quarterback. Let's get Herbert back in that top 5 QB conversation. Let's get back into getting an opportunity to make the playoffs. We have a chance to make a comeback here, but I don't want to get crazy with this win because it's like it was against a bad Bears team. We need to do this now against good teams. I want to see us compete against the Lions, but we have a winnable schedule coming up. Like I said, we should beat the Jets. The Lions, they're probably going to be favored ahead of us, but if we can come out and get those wins, and then we still got like the Broncos coming up, which we should be able to win, like we still have an opportunity to do some great things this year. Now, the only bad part is for me is like the more we win, the less likely Staley leaves or gets fired. It'll take a lot for Staley to sway me the other way. At this point, I'm not going to lie to you. It would take a lot for Staley to sway me. But if we can keep this up and you can continue to have good defensive game plans, I want to see this kind of defensive game plan against the Jets, against the Lions. This defense cannot be so bad anymore. Like, it's time to turn it around. You need to figure it out. If you're going to be this defensive coach, you need to do your part. So, that's something else. We're still on Staley watch, but you know what? Like you said, we're going to give this team a new reset. I think this was a great confidence builder, and you're still going to be on Staley watch, but you know what? I'll give you a little more leeway off this reset so we can see what kind of adjustments you're going to make as a head coach. Let's see if you actually have a great game plan, game in and game out. Let's see if your defense starts to play better and give up less yards. So there's just still a lot we need to figure out with you, but that's kind of where I'm at here. Great win, Chargers, like Bolt fam, like we feel good. Yes, let's not get crazy though. Let's not get crazy. This was a good, decisive win, a win that shouldn't have gotten any other way. Second half needs to get better, and now we need to do this against good teams. Okay, we can't be inconsistent. We are 3-4 against a good AFC conference, because the way I see it, the Jags are going to win their division. They're in. The Chiefs are probably going to win the division. Hate it, but yeah, they're in. Miami's probably going to win, them or the Bills, but either one, the Bills and the Dolphins are going to be in the playoffs. That's 4 teams. I'm not worried about the Bengals. The Bengals are going to be there. The Ravens are going to be there. So this is where it gets concerning. We are going to be fighting for that 7th spot. That 7th spot is going to be someone we got to fight the Browns off, the Steelers off. I'm trying to think if there's going to be any other team that would be competing in that position, because I don't think we have to worry about the Patriots, the Texans, the Colts, but the Browns and the Steelers, maybe the Jets. The Jets might be in that conversation. So it's something we need to keep in mind, that this conference is tough, and we need to find a way to make it to the postseason. And that's where Staley comes in, man. Can you get enough done to get us there? Can you start to turn around like the narrative behind you? Can you make better decisions? Today you did good. But credit when credit is due. Let's go into next week. Let's try to get that win in New York. Anyways, Bolt fam, enjoy this week. We didn't have to take our heart medication this week. So, you know, I'm excited. I'm happy. Now, let's go get another dub. Peace.